Round of the AFL Hunter Central Coast on the grill presentation. Ashley Borg here, Borgie the broadcaster, Shane Darwin alongside me, and I think we're just being joined by the stats man, Andy Baldwin. How are you, fellas? It's been a wonderful week, and I can't wait for finals footy next weekend.
Well, it's been a wet week, Ash. It's been a wonderful week, I suppose, too, because we are nearing the pointy end of the season. But gee whiz,
Yep.
we've had some rain at Newcastle. I know that. I don't know what it's been like out at Singleton or down the coast, Andy, but golly gosh, I'm hoping for clear skies tomorrow because I've had enough of this wet stuff coming down. And yeah, it's gonna cause some havoc, I'm sure, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely, boys. I mean, it's been torrential on the coast. It's been torrential.
No, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It's been a similar thing in the Upper Hunter, but it's been pretty good nonetheless. We'll get straight into it, fellas. Quick shows are good shows, they say. Gets the engagement going, and welcome to anyone that's live with us tonight on YouTube. And don't forget, you can watch our episodes on Spotify after the broadcast. First match in the Black Diamond Women's Cup last weekend was the City versus Warners Bay match, where City won very comfortably by 93 points. They won 106-13. A dominant display going into the finals. Isabella Sullivan with another bag and Kate Hanley for four goals for the winners. Jazzy Wellings was among the best for the Dogs, as she is every other week. My question to you boys is Isabella Sullivan a smoky for the Women's Cup best and fairest? She's been really good this year.
Yeah, it's that's one. I mean, listen, I'm struggling to pick both the men's and women's best because there's been so many talented players. But yeah, she'd be right up there. I don't even know whether you'd call her a smoky because she does. Yeah, she has just played so well. She almost demands to be picked some weeks.
Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. I mean, Shane. I mean, she could be up there. I mean, Kate Landley could be up there too. I mean, but I mean, also, the likes of Sarah Halverson from, Killarney Vale's up there as well. That could be. It'll be a little tight race when we come to the Elliot Davey in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it'll be terrific in about 3 weeks' time. Cardiff 73 defeated Singleton 7. Well, the Roosterettes came down to earth after a massive win the week before, and we thought that would happen to their all due credit. But to their credit, they only conceded 4 goals after quarter time Singleton, which would have been encouraging signs for Jacko and the girls. The Hawkettes and the Birds keep marching on. Charlotte Day got another 5, and Maddie Marsh keeps ticking over goals. The 18-year-old now. She had a birthday recently. 3 goals for the winners. Cardiff and Newcastle just rolling in nicely for the first round of the finals, boys.
Yeah, they are. And I suppose I don't know whether it's good or bad. It's probably actually not too bad a thing for Cardiff. They get the week off this week. They've got the bye. So they'll have, I suppose, a week of not having to run around on pretty heavy ground. So it probably works in their favour, but it will mean that Newcastle City will walk away with the minor premiership. They can't be bettered now. But yeah, both those sides looking good. And Killarney Vale's form as well in the last few weeks has really peaked at the right time of year. So that finals race is still wide open for my mind, Andy.
Well done to the Birds out there. But good credit to Singleton to keep them, as Borgie said, to 4 goals after quarter time. It's a good improvement. They're doing week in and week out, but the Cardiff, I think the Birds are going to be the real deal again.
Yeah, absolutely. And the match of the round, I think Corey's been waiting to go into the studio, boys, so you might need to check that one. Match of the round, Black Diamond Women's Cup on Bar TV was Terrigal 4 goals, 8-32, and the Entrance Bateau Bay, they defeated them and got their first win since May 17, the Panthers, defeating the Entrance Bateau Bay girls 32-22. An outstanding game of football by all accounts. The game swung and seesawed throughout with no less than 5 lead changes in the match. Terrigal were 3 points down at 3/4 time and won it by 10. Nia Jurek kicked 3 goals and also kicked the goal that put the Panthers in front. First win since May 17. It would have been rocking at the Breakers Club on Saturday last weekend.
Yeah, listen, we were lucky enough to be broadcasting the men's game from Hilton Moor, and the guys in the timekeepers box right next to us were checking that score every few seconds because the games were simultaneous there for a little bit for the first half at least anyway, and they were pretty excited. Obviously, they've had some issues down there with their women's team, and a good reward for them. And the crosstown rivals, so to speak, at Passage Road, they would have relished that, and it's really helped sort of, I suppose, push them up off that that potential 7th spot. It now lifts them up and keeps them. They'll play finals now, which is great for them.
Yeah, fantastic. So your top 6 going into the final round of the season: Newcastle City, Cardiff have a bye next week, have sewn up the minor premiership on 92.5% match ratio. Cardiff 85, Killarney Vale 71, round out the top 3, and they're the only 3 sides with a winning percentage in the Black Diamond Women's, which is probably where it's at for the competition at the moment. And the bottom 3 in the top 6, Entrance Bateau Bay 27, Terrigal 25, Warners Bay 23, and Singleton with a very remote chance in final spot to get that last spot, as we'll talk about the review for the preview of round 17 shortly, Shane, with 15%. Mia Wilson has a big lead in the goal kicking. I know Emily did message me before the show and said that some of the clubs have not updated their goal kicking, so we really need you guys to get that done so we're going to get an accurate tally. But Mia Wilson's on 48 and we have Charlotte Day on 34, and that's probably where the top 2 sit at this point, mate.
Yeah, listen, you couldn't see anyone catching Mia, even with a few missed goals here or there across the odd week or two. I couldn't see anyone making back that big a gulf. So, well, obviously we'll talk about the winner when we get that announced officially on next week's show. But congratulations, Mia. It looks as though she's got that one just about in the bag.
Yeah, completely agree with you, mate. So, bit of a preview for the final round of the season is a small permutation that we might look at in the first match. We'll breeze through the other ones, I think, just given the context of the matches. But first game we'll preview is Singleton and Warners Bay, and this is probably the only match that has any real deciding factor on the final 6. Singleton win, and they've got to make up 5% difference to make the final, Shane. Look, both sides have got some quality, but it depends on the quality that turns up tomorrow that will decide the game. Singleton are playing at home at the Chook Pen, and they're a better side at home than they are away. They tend to get more players in. For mine, mate, Singleton will win the game, but they won't kick enough to make the top 6. They'll win it by about a goal, maybe 2 goals, but Warners Bay will hang on for 6th.
Yeah, listen, it's all on the line for Warners Bay. It's a 6th versus 7th battle as it stands right here, right now. But if Warners Bay win, and listen, you'll assume in the other 2 games at the Entrance Bateau Bay and Terrigal Avoca, no disrespect to them, they'll go down against City and Killarney Vale. So they're not going to get any more wins for the season. Warners Bay winning would actually jump them up into 4th place on match ratio. But a loss would potentially put them in the opposite end too. And if they lose, I reckon it's around 47, 48 points or thereabouts, subject to how many goals are kicked for and against. If they lose by that margin to Singleton, they could find themselves in 7th. So they've got it all to play for. And I think that Amy Pittman will have the girls pretty well fired up to do that. And Singleton, well, we commented when we saw them a couple of weeks ago, Ash, when they play at home and they've got Molly Thomas in that side, they look like a team that shouldn't be sitting 7th on the ladder. But with no team sheets up yet on Play AFL, I'm not sure whether Molly's playing. You've mentioned they are better at home, and we'll wait and see the result of that one with bated breath. I think that's going to be an interesting result for tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got a couple of additional guests pop in, mate. So how are you, Corey? It's been a week, mate. How you been, mate?
It's been about half an hour for me. I've been watching you guys for half an hour. I don't know what was going on. I imagine this weather's playing havoc with Wi-Fi, just like it is with our very souls at the moment. I've had enough of it. Have you?
Oh, Look, wet weather. Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh.
The only thing that bothers me is the behaviour of the students at my school.
Are they going mental? Because I feel like one of those students. I've been throwing rocks at the rain all day and it's still here. Had enough. I'm done with it. Oh, my God, I'm so miserable. Thank God there's football this weekend.
That's it.
Yeah, well,
there is, right? There is.
Very soon.
Hilton Moore is going to be played on the back of a bunch of those, giant inflatable unicorns and stuff tomorrow, I reckon. It's going to be underwater.
All right, we might. We'll go into the previews. We've still got a couple of games to preview for the women's. Corey, what do you reckon of Terrigal Avoca winning last week in the game before yours on Bar TV?
Yeah, I thought that was good work. probably a little bit of a surprise. I thought maybe the entrance Bateau Bay would have carried on with a bit of form going to finals, but it was good for Terrigal to get a win at the end. They've had a bit of a topsy-turvy season, haven't they? So it was good. I think they're priming themselves for a big weekend this weekend as well.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll go to the next game. Singleton and Warners Bay was the one we covered. Killarney Vale and the entrance Bateau Bay is the next one. Look, Killarney Vale are just going to roll into the finals with a win here, and I think the entrance Bateau Bay will do well to keep up with them in at least the first half. Their first real tilt at having a go at cup footy, Bateau Bay. They were underdone last year, and they built up and got some plays this year. They've had a sense of purpose going into next season. They'll get a finals game as a reward, but I think Killarney Vale will be way too strong tomorrow. What do you reckon, boys?
100% agree. I think, what did we say? It's something like 11 or 12 first-choice players out for the entrance Bateau Bay. And, a developing club cannot afford to lose that many players and still be competitive. They are playing the away game, but strange enough, it is at Bateau Bay, so they will have the home ground advantage. It's not going to help them. The Killarney Vale Bombers will be too strong for them tomorrow. Chop.
Oh, yeah, Killarney Vale will be priming. They've got a big finals campaign ahead of them, haven't they? It's going to be epic, but especially between those top three sides, it's going to be a real shootout, I think. So they'll be primed, Killarney Vale. They'll want a big win and hopefully send a little message out to their two particular rivals ahead of the finals campaign. So comfortable win for KV, I think.
Yep, and the last game to preview. Well, Terrigal Avoca, Newcastle City. Game change time tomorrow, fellas. It was 1 p.m. It's now 12:30 p.m. at Hilton Moore Oval, so half an hour push forward. Terrigal Avoca, Newcastle City. Look, Newcastle City should just be too classy tomorrow against the Panthers side, who will need a regroup over this pre-season and a re-imaging of their branding women's football. Newcastle City very easily done, I'd suggest.
I'm going to go to Hilton Moore via Newcastle tomorrow, just so I make sure I get there on time. That's all right. So I'll be there early. So glad you told me about the 12:30 start. Yeah, Newcastle, same thing. They're playing a bottom four side going into finals. Luckily, I think Terrigal Avoca, they've got a bit to celebrate down at Hilton Moore this weekend. I think it's Panther party time, so I'm looking forward to that. They've been advertising that. But I think the real party for the Terrigal Avoca Panther women's came last week, didn't it? They got their celebration last week. So I don't know if they have too much to celebrate in that particular game. Although, the wet weather might level it out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the great equaliser, the wet weather.
Well, the wet weather quite often evens, sides up a little bit. A dry day in Newcastle City probably win by more. But at the end of the day, wet, dry, no matter what it is, City are walking away with the points tomorrow. There's no question about that.
Yep.
Absolutely. What do you reckon, Andy? You there, mate?
Boys, I can't say anything because I'm umpiring that game.
All good, mate. We'll move on to the Black Diamonds.
Oh, well done, mate. That's great.
Excellent, mate. We'll see you tomorrow then. We'll go through to the Black Diamond men's review of round 16. Newcastle City and Warners Bay, sadly. Lightning and Storms had the game called off. Real shame. It would have been one of the matches of the year. But this one, that setback just makes the finals contest even more juicy and more mouth-watering for us, boys. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Go for it, Shane.
I saw that message come through. I was driving up the M1 on the way back from Hilton Moore last week, and I saw the message come through to say the game had been called off, and I just was a little bit deflated because I was like, I wanted to see these two teams go at it, and so we got a feel for who maybe had the advantage going into the finals. But in some ways, I'm actually a little bit more excited because now I don't know who's got that edge going into finals. So we get to see that all unfold over the next couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited for it, Corey. I assume you are as well.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just looking at, did Warner's Bay's game get cancelled this week? I'm just having a look. Has that been cancelled as well? I'm just looking at the fixtures. Yeah.
Well, it was going to be breaking news for about 5 minutes' time, mate, but you've spoiled the party. Emily Brown texted me about 3 minutes ago to say that the game's been called off. So congratulations on them.
Breaking news, all right.
Warners Bay. How good's that?
Oh my God! Let's talk about that.
How good?
Well,
Waters Bay. How
on one-
unlucky.
Well,
They
they're the
did
minor
filthy.
premiers without having to step on a field tomorrow.
Well, hold on one second.
I
It
don't
does
think they'd be
change
happy
the match
about that,
ratio
though.
calculations too, though. So I might
Yeah,
need to
I've
put my
done
calculator out.
them.
You have done them?
No,
Okay,
I've done
right.
them. 13,
Well-
13 and 3, 12 and 3. It'll be 12 and 3 Terrigal. What's that? That'll be the only one. 12 out of 15's 80%.
75%.
Waters Bay's at 84. They can't
Yeah,
get
so it
beat.
is. There's.
Yeah.
Yep. Congratulations.
So-
Dom.
Well,
Without
that's
even-
congratulations. But, geez, I'll tell you what, that would be dissatisfying to a certain extent, wouldn't it? They haven't played in how many weeks?
I think it's 3, isn't it?
Yeah, but then they missed another
Three,
game,
like
didn't they,
three.
2 weeks before that? They played
Yeah.
like once in a month.
Yeah, not the best preparation for finals, but
Oh,
you take
nice.
you take your first minor premiership since 1995, and
Yeah,
now it's
congratulations,
time
Nathan. The boys, they've had a wonderful year and it's just really good. We've been absolutely bereft of getting to see them play in the last couple of weeks. I'm really disappointed about that, and I'm happy as Larry for the minor premiership. It for sure, but they're a side that are great to watch, and I'm sure they'd be stinging to play. They would love to have just turned over a couple of top 4 sides maybe just before the end of the year and won it that way, I'm sure. But well done, boys. I feel for you at the moment, though.
Yeah, take a feel for everyone in the wet conditions at the moment. Anyway, we'll move on to the other games that did get played. Killarney Vale defeated Maitland by 10 points. Maitland had a really gallant showing in the game from what I've heard from people I chatted to during the week. They definitely showed improvement across the last month, but still couldn't get over the line on this one. Killarney Vale were just too strong, and they led every quarter in tough conditions to run out winners. NJ Convey, the only multiple goal scorer, and Tom Castelnuovo, best on ground. Question for you, boys. Ryan Arthur's been in the best a fair bit this year. Do we see Ryan Arthur in contention for the Elliot Davey medal in a few weeks?
It'd be nice for KV
seem
to have that. I just don't think they've won enough games, mate. I think there's just some of the competition they've come up against have got plenty of stars in their sides, and when they've won against Killarney, I just don't think they've won enough for him. He should. It would be nice to see him up and polling well. I just think that they're outside of the top 4. He might have picked up a few votes in a couple of those losses, but I don't think he'll be threatening it. Unfortunately, he has had one of those seasons, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a great year. Shane?
He'd be hard-pressed to miss the team of the year. I think he's playing great football, but will he win the Elliot Davey? I think, as you've said, Corey, I don't think they've won enough games. And they've copped some beltings, too, from some of those top 4 sides where, they're not going to get any votes as a team, when they've lost by a significant margin. So I think for Ryan, I can't see him winning the Elliot Davey, but, he'll be in my team of the year anyway. I know that. So
I'm a massive fan of him. King Arthur Rowley, they call him out there, and we've been a fan of him for a couple of years now. That mullet is just iconic in the local footy, I reckon. But he's been a great player. He had rep duties earlier on in the year, and he's one of the players that can help revitalise Killarney Vale. He's one of the leaders down there now, I believe. So, and he's really standing up. So it's good to see. So hopefully they continue to climb, have another good year next year, and Rowley keeps that form going and gets himself up amongst the top tier contenders for Elliot Davey maybe next year. He'll pick up a few votes for sure, but.
yeah.
Yep, excellent. Cardiff 14-18, 102 gave the entrance Bateau Bay a bit of a lesson in football at Passage Roads, 4-7-31. The only real evenness in the game was the first quarter, but then after quarter time, Cardiff kicked 13 goals to 2 to stamp their authority on the match. And I'd say the coach, Chris Gordon, would have loved to have seen that performance a little bit more consistently throughout the year. Braden Hawkins was best on ground. I really like how Braden Hawkins attacks the football. He's a real hard nut and go get the footy type of player. And the coach decided, boys, well, you guys can't get bags during the year. I might as well have one for you and show you how it's done. He got 5, and Max Otti, he got best on ground for the entrance Bateau Bay in a performance which probably would have been a quite disappointing one for the last match at home for the year.
Yeah, what do you reckon this was a case of? Cardiff found some form, or Bateau Bay just didn't show up? Because I was a little surprised with that result. I mean, Andy was there, I think. He saw this firsthand. Is this the game you saw firsthand, Andy? Let's take that as a yes.
Blink once for yes, blink twice for no.
Yeah, well, I would have thought they would have put maybe a better foot forward, the entrance Bateau Bay. In fact, I actually tipped them to have a win, but they got thoroughly outplayed there by a Cardiff side that probably brought their best to the ground way too late in the season, one would think.
Yeah, Shane, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah. Listen, I expected more from them. I think they've sort of a bit like their women's team. They've hit a bit of a slump as well. It's an unfortunate end to the season. Obviously, they've still got the game tomorrow as well. But yeah, disappointing that they did get done by so much. And yeah, they'll need to have a good hard look at where their football program's at in the Men's Cup for next year, the Entrance Bateau Bay. But they'll come back, and they sort of felt to me like they recruited maybe half as well as they could have this year, and they just missed that one or two big name players. They can work on that over the off season and come back strong. They would have been disappointed. On the other hand, Cardiff would have taken something out of that game. They've had a really tough season, and we've been, well, me especially, I've been pretty critical on Cardiff this year. And it's it's reflected in where they sit on the ladder. That is a good win for them, and hopefully it is something for them to hang their season off and work towards next year as well, because they need to do better next year. The drop from grand finalists to not making the finals this year has been disappointing, and they've got to build something as well over the off season.
Where did they actually finish, Shane, in the end? What on the ladder? Were they just outside?
They're third last.
Yeah, so they'll finish sixth in theory.
Seventh.
Sixth, yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyhow, Terrigal Avoca in the last match of the round, 24-9, 153, annihilated the Marlins, 5-7-37. And all I could say when I saw the scoreline and watched a bit of the game back during the week was, wow, the Panthers flogged the Marlins in a absolute flogging on Saturday. 13 goals in the first half and 11 in the second. And I reckon they put every side in the top four on notice as Chris Bishop's men seek to get back to the promised land. They haven't won a premiership since 2020, boys, and they'll be hungry to get a chance at getting back there. Brandon Thomas kicked an amazing 10 goals. It would have been wonderful to watch. And Alec Walters kicked 5. It was a dominant display from a side who haven't really gone out of their way, I reckon, boys, to get noticed this year. But this performance last week was too hard to ignore. Billy Barton and Mark Spencer kicked 2 goals each for the Nelson Bay side, who was stiff to lose their home ground advantage and were made to pay for their travel for more than just the increasing fuel prices. It's going to be a tough last couple of games. Well, they aren't playing next week, and they've got to then play the loser of Newcastle and Terrigal tomorrow in an elimination final. I don't see Nelson Bay going any further than where they're at now. Terrigal Avoca must have been just unbelievable last week, boys. What do you reckon?
Yeah, listen, they were, Randy. They look great. There were stars all over the place. McNamara was just dynamic wherever he played. He really set them up. Their defense was as stingy as you'll see. Grim and Lee in the middle was the tough bulldog you expect from Grim and Lee. And up forward, they kicked 4 behinds to start the game. And I thought, what's going to go on here? They went and then kicked, I think it was 13 goals straight following those 4 behinds. And by quarter time, it was just about over. And that's no disrespect to the Marlins. They were underdone. They had a couple of players out of their defense line, and it just really showed. They just couldn't match up. Thomas ran riot. Walters was just huge, literally huge. He was towering above the defenders, and he's below the knees skills were fantastic as well. He kicked a couple of goals you'd expect from the forward pocket, not the big full forward or centre half forward. They just had answers all over the ground. They were they were dominant, and poor old Nelson Bay just didn't have anything they could throw at it. They battled really hard. Nelson Bay, full credit to them. They did not stop from the first siren to the last siren. They just didn't have any answers. They didn't have enough players to match up on that Terrigal Avoca side. Did you see it the same way, Corey?
Yeah, well, I'm used to seeing Terrigal Avoca prime at this time of the year. Chris Bishop's been doing it for 17 years, so he certainly knows what he's doing. I don't know if it's certainly not the best Terrigal Avoca footy side we've seen in the last decade and a bit, but it doesn't matter because Chris Bishop just gets them up and about. His strategies and game plans are fantastic. And he just knows how to get a football side well drilled and primed for finals. And unfortunately, it was Nelson Bay who had to feel the heat on the weekend, and probably a good measure too, because they're about to enter a final series with 3 sides that are a class above. And I guess what we've seen at the end of the year now is that the men's side is echoing men's competition echoes a little bit what we saw in the women's, where we've got a 3-horse race effectively, and there's quite a margin between them, especially when you look at where they're ready to go at this time of the year. And that's no disgrace to Nelson Bay. They should be very, very proud of what they've done and what they've achieved this year. They come into the season late, of course, but they've charged through, not without some controversy, of course, but they've made their way through to a final series, and they should be thrilled about that. Whether they get through the first week or not shouldn't make any difference. I think they should just run with it. Their leaders there, I know they're aging players. I think going by the way that they played this year, they look like they've still got plenty of footy. And that's certainly good signs for any of the young Marlins coming through. They don't need to look no further than their top 5 players, who are as good as any in the competition, if not, some of the best. So they should have a couple of players in the team of the year, no doubt. But Terrigal Avoca, mate, yeah, stand by and just see what happens. The clash of these 3 sides, and I genuinely hope it doesn't affect Warners Bay too much, not getting much footy in the last month, but these 3 sides are coming together are going to be great to watch in the finals. And no disrespect to Nelson Bay, but I think they've got a season or 2 to travel through before they could be competitive with these sides at the end of the year, and that showed on the weekend.
Yep.
Absolutely. We'll go to the ladder for the final round as we go into the final round of the season. And with the breaking news a couple of minutes ago, Warners Bay on 84.6% match ratio have claimed the minor premiership, the first one since 1995. Newcastle City at 80%, Terrigal Avoca 78%. Nelson Bay in 4th place with a wonderful effort to make the finals in their first year, in their comeback year, 54%. Killarney Vale 43%, Cardiff 33%, Maitland 20%, and the entrance Batter Bay 13%. In your goal kickers list, Alec Walters leads it with 39 goals. The Pitbull, Harrison Pitt, has 1 game, has 80 minutes to make up 3 goals tomorrow. He's in the side for tomorrow's match. Brandon Lloyd 33,
last week,
and Zach Munn's 33, Jordan Deere 31. It's going to be a tantalising final round, especially with the goal kick in, and I'm sure Terrigal Avoca won't care which player wins the gong as long as they win the battle tomorrow against Newcastle City. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah, well, listen, just on the gong, I feel for Zach Munns. 3 of the last 4 weeks, their games have been cancelled. So that is 3 of the last 4 games he has not been able to kick anything and add to his score. Like the week they did play he was up playing the odds tag, I think. So he's missed.
So that's 5 or 6, 5 games or something that he has. Yeah, it's not right. I'm disappointed.
They could do what they do with HSC and get an average mark, boys. What do you reckon?
Then again, Pitty's been away overseas for a few weeks as well. So if you look at goals per game, Pitty's probably right up there as well. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to come down to those 2 tomorrow. It's going to be Pitt or Walters. I said
it last week. I said I'd had some late mail that Harrison Pitt might be coming in late and playing the last game. He'll kick 12 and take out the Goolagong after everyone's scored up to him.
Nah, outstanding, boys. All right, well, we'll go straight to the preview for round 17, the first game. Well, I did have a preview set up for Warners Bay, Nelson Bay, but that game's been called off due to poor ground conditions and an inability for the game to be rescheduled. So sadly for those 2 sides, they'll have to wait until the finals next week. Second game is Maitland versus Cardiff. Now, I received a message from Emily about 10 minutes ago. Maitland are making a call at 7 p.m. pending their match tomorrow. So they might be all she wrote at Max McMahon Oval. So wondering maybe if there's an opportunity for Cardiff to swap that game around to Pasterfield Oval. And Singleton Warners Bay's Women's Cup game is the same as well. It's a 7 o'clock cutoff time for any match changes. So anyone watching this live, you need to go to Play HQ, the Play AFL website, after 7:30 p.m. this afternoon for this evening for any updates. If I get anything from Emily during our live broadcast, I'll let you know. But Maitland versus Cardiff, if they do play, look, they've struggled to get a consistent team all year, boys, haven't they? And their results have suffered. Been a bit better in the last few rounds, have been more competitive. They'll be racked with the Stewart boys and Riley Newstead. who have been magnificent this year. I reckon those three will fight it out for their best and fairest in the club. Walter Pankhurst has been relatively consistent. And on the Cardiff side, they've had so many talented players in that lineup who just haven't been able to bring the heat this year, as they say. They'll rue their poor start to season 2025 and know it could have been so much more. Finals footy was there for them, but they just couldn't grab it. For mine, they've unearthed a real find in Finton and Owen Tricky, the two Tricky boys from Singleton. Owen debuted in Cup a couple of weeks ago. Congratulations to him. Chris Gordon's got a lot to look forward to with the Hawks. It's a season of regret and rebuild for both sides. For mine, Maitland will win if they play final kick of the day by 5 points.
There you go. I really liked what Maitland have brought to the table in the last 4 or 5 weeks. When we were up there against the Nelson Bay game, what was that, 4 or 5 weeks ago now?
About a month ago.
They said they were looking to 2026 and they felt that they actually had the bones of the team there. And sometimes you think, oh, yeah, it's a little bit of lip service and, you say it, but do you mean it? But I think they've proven that over the last few weeks. Obviously, they had a win against City, all being at a one-half game, but they had that win and they've had some strong showing since. And to only lose to the Bombers by 10 points last week was further proof that they're on the right track and they're coming back from what has been some lean times early on in the season. So, yeah, really excited by how Maitland are building. And once again, they're another club that one or two key players could probably make the world of difference to them too. So all the best for them in their recruiting in the off season. And Cardiff, yeah, it would have. They'll look back at the end of the year and they'll be disappointed, but they've got plenty to build on. But I think, for my mind, if the game does go ahead, I think that they're going to bring the Hawks are going to bring that form from last week, and they're going to get a win. They're going to win by 20 points. Corey.
Well, it's going to be wet, and the sides don't have spots to play for in the ladder anymore. They're all determined. No finals. I reckon this is going to be a fun game, and they're all going to can't wait till the kick into Mad Monday. That's what I reckon. They've had good they will be looking towards next year. As simple as that. It's been lamentable season for both of those clubs, and they're going through some changes and some shifts. I reckon they'll just enjoy their day out at footy. It won't mean a great deal in the grand scheme of it all, but they'll have a quiet beer at the end of it and enjoy the tail end of 2025, I reckon. So I don't know. Tough one to pick. After Cardiff won last week, you would think that they've found some late season form, I think. So I think if the game goes ahead, I think Cardiff will win.
Yep, excellent, mate. And next game we'll preview is Killarney Vale in the entrance, Baddo Bay at Adelaide Street. The Bombers, look, Corey Shackleton's own words here, they haven't deserved to make the finals and they haven't made it. They've finished fifth this season. Could have been a much better year for them. They've got a really good lineup. Just been a bit up and down. They had a bit of a spurt a few weeks ago and pulled off one of the upsets of the year against Terrigal Avoca with Daniel Lloyd, having a Daniel Lloyd-inspired win at home, and then got thumped the week after by the same team at Hilton Moore Oval. So it's that sort of year for them. Their midfield are really good. They're as good as any other, but for mine, where it sort of lacks for them is they've relied on really only one scoring route. And I mean, Lockie Henderson's sort of been in and they've had a couple of goal scorers here and there. Newport's been a good signing for them, a good find for them. But Brandon Lloyd's been the catalyst for them and been the barometer. When he hasn't scored goals, they haven't either. So it's been one of those years for them. They just need probably a couple of players in that area to be a force next year. For mine, the entrance, Baddo Bay, they fight hard every week. They lost their coach, Mitch Eade, mid-year, and they've just struggled to recover from that, really. The Besley boys and Pat Murphy are always giving the Blues drive and grit, and they've unearthed, Harry Levi played a few games last year early, and Liam Pass has been a real find for them. Harry Levi's played 15 games this year to go with the 5 he did last year. Add Max Otiwi in the list and some more consistent performers around them, and I reckon there's a side of the future there in the Blues. But for now, they'll have to win to have any chance of avoiding the wooden spoon for season 2025. I just can't see them doing it against Killarney Vale tomorrow. Brandon Lloyd's going to go out with a bag of goals and they're going to win by 4 goals.
Yeah, again, another non-issue there. Season's over. They're looking at mothballs, both of these clubs. So a lot of friends of mine are playing in that game. So it's a tough one for me to pick. I'd like to see the entrance Bateau Bay finish off with a win. But I just don't think they're going to. Good to see Dane Robertson back in the side there tomorrow for the entrance Bateau Bay. He's a legend and a great guy, and doing the best he possibly can, trying to lead that side through the back end of the season. So it'd be nice for the boys to get up and get a win for Dane. I know he puts a lot of heart and soul into that, and he's come off a nasty broken jaw injury too. So, but at the same time, I'd like to see Killarney Vale have a win too. Those boys have sort of slugged it out a little bit and probably underperformed again this year. And Shaq, the coach, definitely deserves a big effort from his boys. I think just purely on form, the Killarney Vale Bombers will win that and finish their season on a high with a big W, and then straight up to the bar upstairs, I reckon. Straight afterwards.
Well, as Bruce has just pointed out, that game is actually at Passage Road. It was originally scheduled for Adelaide Street, but it looks as though the weather's got the better of Adelaide Street there, I think, by the look of it.
Well, you know, the grass there is like plush pile carpet when it's wet, so they're playing on a good deck.
Yeah, and actually, it has been the battle. I suppose it's been the Jekyll and Hyde of Killarney Vale this year. They've had some really good wins, that win over Terrigal especially, but then they've been done by 105 points by the Panthers, 110 points by City. They've had some pretty average showings as well. So, they're going to need to work on their consistency. But tomorrow, I think the entrance Bateau Bay are limping towards the end of the season, unfortunately for them. I can't see them getting the win, and I think Shaq's boys are going to win pretty comfortably. I'm going to tip them by 35 plus points for tomorrow.
Yeah, excellent, mate. Excellent. Last game, it's the Bar TV match of the round, 2:30 at Hilton Moore Oval. At this stage, we'll have to wait and see if there's any changes impending. But I'm going to say at this stage, because it's been just one of those last 3 or 4 weeks of the year where you just don't know. But this one's Terrigal Avoca, Newcastle City. This one has potential match of the year written all over it. Will both sides come out with what they've got as their best team? I've looked at the sides and they just about look at maximum capacity. Should Warners Bay have played tomorrow and stumbled, one of them would have won the minor premiership on the old Stephen Bradbury rule coming from the back. Newcastle City suffered a shock loss to Maitland in the most bizarre of circumstances, which when they go to review their year probably cost them the minor premiership. But Mitch Crawford and the boys know that the last game of the year is more important than that. So they'll see that as an opportunity to get one back. Finn Hurley has had a Team of the Year season in his first real job in Cup. Been a fantastic ruck this season, and I reckon he's going to be on the Team of the Year or close to it. Jordan Deere and Woodhams have been plagued by inconsistency in terms of being in and out of the team and having injuries and travel and things like that, but they'll be keen to start the finals with a big performance. Tuddy and Lupton are ready to fire when it counts the most, and Ethan Maher is going to be one of their big, potent forwards going forward. The return of the 2020 and 2023 Morris Goolagong goal-kicking winner Harrison Pitt will be the big one for the Panthers tomorrow, boys. He's been away, as you guys have said. Brandon Thomas and Alec Walters have been wonderful foils and given him excellent support. So well, in fact, that Alec Walters is leading the race for the gong. Add Caden McNamara from the VFL Swans and possibly the best backline in the league with Lee Croft, Carter and Birkinshaw, although Birkinshaw's not playing tomorrow. And for mine, this match is just too tough to predict. For the winner, they get a psychological advantage going into the finals and a double chance. And that's basically where it's at. For the loser, they play Nelson Bay next weekend with a real danger game, which could see the side lose with a poor performance next week. City will be looking to avoid that match because last time they played Nelson Bay in a semi-final in 2017 was a 1-point loss to them. It's a coin toss for mine, and I'm going for the home side. Terrigal Avoca by 8 points in a thriller. Harrison Pitt to kick the last goal of the game and win the Goolagong medal and go equal second in the all-time goal-kicking wins, with Goolagong with 7 wins and Mick Ryan with 3, and Courtney Knight, who won 3 in a row in the mid-2000s. Pete Van Dam and Pitt tied on 2 each at the moment. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, for mine, Terrigal Avoca to win in a thriller.
That's a big call. Listen, we saw it. We saw a goal after the siren last week down at Hilton Moor, and it was for Brandon Thomas to get his 10th, which was pretty exciting. Even though the game was over by that stage, it was at least we got a bit of a celebration after the siren. Listen, this game is absolute blockbuster. 3 names that really make you sort of sit back and go, yeah, this is going to be a stacked team. Neither side is letting up here. But if you look at the emergencies for City, you've got Connor Babbage, Oscar Edwards, and Noah McDonald, who would probably just about walk into any other team and get a start. They're the emergencies. They're not even on the field. So City are going out to play this one. The Terrigal Avoca team, as we talked about earlier in their recap of the game against the Marlins, they've got stars all over the park, and this is going to be an absolute belter. I'm so excited that we get the opportunity to be broadcasting it on Bar TV. You know, the very last game of the season, and it's an absolute bash of the Claytons, the clash of the Titans, I should say. So it's going to be good. As for tipping, gee whiz, you've taken the home team, Ash. I think I'm going to take the home team as well, only because they're at home. So yeah, listen, I'm gonna go with Terrigal Avoca. I'm going to go by 9 points, though. I'm going to go a bit more bullish than you, Ash. I'm going to give them that extra point.
Give them the extra point. Chop you there, mate.
Yeah, not much left to say, fellas. You covered everything, really. Adam Miller's not in the side for Terrigal. He did a hamstring last week.
Oh, wow.
Do we know whether that's a couple of weeker chop, or is it just a 1 weeker?
Oh, hamstrings are usually a couple of weeks. I don't know how bad it is, but he strained it last week. Hopefully it's nothing too bad, and he gets back for finals. But that's a relatively big blow, as well as Birkinshaw. But Pitt coming in to cover those is going to be handy, no doubt. Yeah, Newcastle City, you said it, Shane. They come in with pretty much their full lineup there. So, but the thing is, the ground's going to be as wet as wet can be. It's going to make it heavy and difficult going. It won't be the best game that we've seen between those two sides, but there's a fair bit at stake for both of those teams, given that Warners Bay now have got the minor premiership. So I'm going to say draw.
Awesome. Love it. The 50 to 1 shot on TAB every week. We love it. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for us, isn't it? We've done all the games, previewed everything. The last round's upon us. If you watch this on Spotify tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning, please just check Play AFL for any game changes. Unfortunately, Wyong Lakes fixture's been cancelled as well, which was their past players and sponsors day. So that's a real shame for them to go with their cancellation. Their 50th anniversary dinner a few weeks ago has been a real shocker of an opportunity there for the Lakes boys. I'm really excited to be at Hilton Moor tomorrow. 12:30 we start on Bar TV. The Kings of Live Stream, Shane, Corey and myself. You'll get the best seat in the house and you'll get the best commentary from Corey Hopper in the house and another hack joining him from AFL Sydney for a week. Andy, ball-winning goals will be a wonderful experience for you, mate. And you're looking forward to tomorrow. What are you looking forward to, mate, apart from the wet weather on your boots tomorrow? I think your audio is no
trouble
good.
with your audio today, Andy. We just can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, Andy. Mate, Corey, any last thoughts from you, mate, before we sign off for the last on the grill?
I'd like to see 5 bags on each team. That would be great. They've got the sides to do it. I'd like to see 5, so that's 10 bags all up between the two sides.
That's a lot.
That would be a great way to finish, and especially if every one of those bag kickers did the biggest goal sally of the year, and see who wins the BMW that I've got lined up for the best goal celebration for the year. So, boys, turn it on for us tomorrow. We need it. The rain's been miserable. It's just made everyone sad and lonely. And so turn it on for us in the last round, please. I want to see a spectacle. Otherwise, I'm going to go and drown myself in the creek.
What about you, Shane? Any last thoughts, my friend?
No, listen, I think Corey's call out, I think we're going to be a little bit muted on goal celebrations when we get to the finals because it's, finals footy. So we need them tomorrow. So, especially in that women's game, there's plenty of opportunity there in that women's game. I reckon Newcastle City are going to kick a lot of goals. So City girls, if you're watching this, we want celebrations because I think in the Women's Cup, I reckon that Singleton are probably holding down this year's, what's your trophy chop? I think in the women's, that double worm
it's
from
a
2 weeks ago was
BMW, a
outstanding.
small Hot Wheels size BMW.
Yeah, right.
It's so nice. Yep. But do it. Yeah, I believe that a goal celebration is worth at least an extra 2 or 3 goals by the end of the day. So get the sellies up and about. Enjoy your last day. Everybody who does get a game tomorrow, enjoy it. It's the last round of the year. It's all over for half of us tomorrow. And then for the other half, it's the business end of it. So have a good day. Enjoy the last round of footy. And up yours, New South Wales, for watching out so many games at the end of the year. It sucks.
Yeah,
We put a lot into a season of footy. We all put a lot into a season of footy, and we know how fickle councils are, and it just sucks we get this weather at the end of the year. So let's celebrate tomorrow. I'm gonna.
Absolutely. And Corey's just summed it up for all of us, fellas. So from Chop, from Shane and myself, the footy finals are just around the corner. Round 17. Good luck to all teams. To all the rest, have a great Mad Monday, and we'll see you next week for On the Grill, 12:30 on Bar TV, 2:30 for the match around on the Kings Alive stream, Bar TV Sports. We'll see you all tomorrow for a great last round of footy.